What is DACA and why would you care about DACA? Because it seems like, DACA is this program that they've put into place that is, it's a progressive Democrat policy that the progressives are protecting and they want to hold on to that. The interesting thing is, and the one thing I'm going to add to this so that if you're going in there, you can kind of understand that the 14th Amendment covers this and it spells this out. If you read the actual debates in Congress regarding the 14th Amendment, there was nowhere and no way in Hades that the federal government decided to create this concept of what we will call, for a bad term, but I can't think of a better term, anchor babies. In other words, people that come here and be able to have a baby, and if that child is born here, it becomes a citizen. Well, that's not per the Constitution. And as a matter of fact, let me read or Section 1 of the 14th Amendment for you. All persons born or naturalized in the United States, and here's the critical part, I'm going to say it twice now, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, which means that they have to be subject to the jurisdiction. So back in those days and in that vernacular, I'll use that word again, the way they were using speech and the way they were using words were very, very critical. And back in those days, they were subjects before they revolted to the king and the British crown and to Parliament. Everybody is a subject to some sovereign and or some government that has jurisdiction over you. And so the people that were coming here, whether they were coming here as visitors or whatever, they hadn't applied and had not become legal citizens. That means they were still subject to whatever foreign entity that they were subject to before they got here. And in, a high percentage of the people today that fall into DACA are of the Hispanic, I guess, origins. And so you could probably point to Mexico, Central America, South America, maybe, or what have you. And these people, these folks, the illegal aliens and those who kind of fall into this no man's land, they're not in no man's land. They are still subjects to those foreign entities and government. The only way you become subject to is when your parents legally become citizens. And then you become a citizen when you are born to legal citizens. That's why in the military, when you have a couple that has, gives birth to a child in Japan or what have you, those kids aren't Japanese citizens because those parents are subject to the United States government. They are not subject to the government of Japan or the Republic of Korea or what have you. These two good citizens and their child are still citizens because they are still subject to the United States. And that's how it works. And that's why they use that very specific word, subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Are citizens of the United States, in closing this little part of this section, are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. So that's the other little thing that most people don't realize is that we are citizens of the state.